You know, we all know the story about Kubrick and 2001 and the Strauss Waltz. You know, I mean, why put a Strauss Waltz on a spaceship going, you know, in out there? You know, but it worked unbelievably, because it goes back to your point, Carl, about surprise me.
I was a consultant on the Cadbury Grill commercial with the Phil Collins track, and I sat in the pre-production meeting with Phil Rumbold, who was the marketing director, and I was thinking, you know, this is either going to be really fucking brilliant or really, really shit. There was no halfway house with this commercial. And what a lot of people don't know about that ad is it sat on the shelf for 6 months because the chief exec of Cadbury's didn't want to run it. They couldn't understand what it had to do with chocolate. And Phil was, you know, very brave to take that on and say, look, you know, I really want to go for this. But the music obviously was an incredible part of that commercial, and the effectiveness was, you know, well, rest is history, I think.
I mean, to be honest, there are still some really good budgets out there. So I always thought it was composition that kind of gone a bit out of fashion. I know that with, you know, youngsters, particularly young creatives, if you say, we've got some writers who are going to write you a lovely track for your advert, and they're kind of going, really? Because they really want to buy something. They want to buy something that's famous, off the shelf. We work with a couple of Hollywood A-listers, composers, and we got them very decent budgets to write 60 seconds of music. I mean, you know, buying a small flat in coastal town.
You've got to start with the integrity of the idea. Otherwise, you're just floundering around. You know, get me more tracks. You know, and it just, it never works, that. And I think then when you have the integrity of the idea and your music that adds to it, the whole thing gets better and better and better. You almost need to invert the process of, now, music's very important. How much are we going to put against that? Because that's what's going to communicate. But only if it works with that idea. Otherwise, it's just, we used to call it a vampire video. It's just something that's good to watch, but what has that got to do with anything?
Modern creativity, I think, because there's social currency attached to everything, it's a bit like how Hollywood puts together a script. You get the star, you get the thing, you get the money, you get the whatever. It's too big to break, and it's too big to die. And I think that there's approaching music about attaching a famous person, attaching a trend, a style, or whatever. So there's that as a motivation to do something in the hope that it garners enough momentum to be big, noticeable, interesting, cool, all those things. But it does miss the real power of just letting great music set the mood, set the tone, do the hard work.